So, last we left off, our party has come together to form a sort of crew of sorts, finding a common goal in that these bandits have been raiding the town and looting the town of salvage and causing general havoc. It also aligns with one of the characters' goals of finding a character named Callie, or Carly. So, taking on one of the gnolls with a broken leg, or a smashed up leg, and barely clinging onto life, you strung him up to the horns of the ox and asked him to guide your way as the sun started to set at the end of a hot day in East Brayland. Heading out south as you come together as a party, this is where we pick up. Maybe an hour or hour and a half kind of walking out of town. The sun's like kind of just setting off into the distance. It's still like orange sky, very, very dusk setting. You've been traveling for about an hour and a half and you are still walking with no sign of anything in the distance. Maybe a couple of rolling hills and stuff. Vargir.
Yeah.
You notice that the gnoll, you're riding on Obuck, and the gnoll in front of you, its head is starting to sway a bit. You notice this. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna kind of like grab the back of the mane of the gnoll's head and lift his head up.
Yep.
As I do, I'm gonna use lay on hands and give him like 1 point of health.
Sure.
And just go, hey, eyes on the road.
You pick up its head and you realize that it had fallen out of consciousness again. As you put in lay on hands, though, the gnoll kind of comes back to life and takes a breath in, and it's barely hanging on, basically. And it turns to you and says, "Oh, not far. Keep going."
As I will.
Carry on. The rest of you do start to notice that it is getting a little bit, it's starting to get dark. If anyone would like to do or say anything.
How do we all
That's
go?
an ideal if we were doing this at nighttime.
I was about to say, how do we all go in the dark? I can't see as well.
Yeah, as I said, not great. And like you see, he sort of turns his shield upwards and starts like tracing his fingers along a few of the runes and pulls out a small pouch of powder and almost just crushes it over one of them, clicks his fingers, and it sort of bursts in this blue bright light for a second, then the gem just starts glowing blue. I'm casting light.
Very nice.
It's a light spell?
Whatever.
Oh, the magical
Yeah,
technique.
the cantrip. No, the
Oh,
cantrip.
yeah, gotcha. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
so dim blue light surrounds the party. It's not as noticeable now because the sun is still up, but you're probably saying that it's going to set within the next half an hour to an hour.
Are we planning on setting camp outside there?
Hell fucking no. You really want to shack up and get comfy right outside the enemy's base?
Why, are you scared?
I mean, I'd rather not sleep next to my enemies. Friend.
I mean, where do you want to rest?
I assumed we were not resting. That was the point of the haste, no?
I assumed the same.
Hey, furry one. How far off are we?
You look back and it is fallen back out of consciousness.
Oh, for
I'll
fuck's
tap him on the cheek, just like,
Nothing.
Sort of. Is he dead?
no.
No, you can tell he's not dead. He's lost a lot of blood out of his leg. The only thing that was keeping him up was Vargir doing lay on hands before you left town and just now, raising him up to 1 hit point. Then he slowly slips into 0, raising him up to 1, slowly slips to 0.
Do we care if he survives?
Well, do we know where we're going from here? He said straight on forward.
We don't know where we are, and we don't know if there's any traps. I don't think it makes sense to have him dead.
So it won't bring him out of consciousness, but I pull a little capsule out of my pouch and sort of just go up to him and put it in his mouth, and he like close his mouth, and you can hear like a crunch. And I'm gonna cast Spare the Dying.
Nice.
Do the dying. Nice. What is that? Does that bring him back into one?
No, all it does is stabilize and means he won't like bleed out.
Okay.
Or
Look, this is why I think it might be a good idea to make camp even for a small amount of time. Then we can at least get him back to his normal state.
The
Find out
darker,
information about the place.
the darker it gets, the harder this is going to be. I think. I can't see in the dark, and I don't think they're going to willingly give up Callie. We're going to have to convince them.
What do y'all think?
I have no trouble with the dark, but if we do wait a while, we will be infiltrating rather than trying to have a discussion. I don't know if this is likely to talk anyway.
Exactly. I don't think we're gonna have too many conversations anyway.
Well, what about drawing them out? A few of us stay with our mounts and chase them out of the camp while you run in and try to see if you can find Kevin.
I'm pretty good at sneaking, but I'm not sure we can take all of them without some kind of stealth. If there's more than 5 or 10 of them, then that's a lot to overcome.
If we can at least draw out more of that.
If he can have a distraction, perhaps, if any of you feel particularly up for it, you can come with me and we can break in and hopefully find her and get her out. Make enough of a ruckus outside, maybe even set, if it's like a palisade wall, we could try and set part of it on fire or something. And while they deal with that, in the confusion, we can maybe get out and get away.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
The fire I can help with, stealth not so much.
Yeah, I'm definitely not hiding behind any bushes.
Well, given that we all had a bit of an insight into each other's abilities, what are we all good at? I can handle a blade and I can sneak around and things like that. But what about you all? What are you bringing to the table here?
I can create.
I'd say the big one hits things real hard. Am I right?
Pretty much, yeah.
And can heal, so it seems.
Correct.
Yes.
I'm a man of my creations, which, to be fair, ain't working so well at the moment. I'm a good shot though, and light on my feet.
sort of hold up my mechanical arm. Also a man of my creations.
I think you and I are going to get along, sir.
Oh, sure.
We'll have to talk about that another time. What about you, mysterious stranger?
I don't see the table.
Aye.
So, what do we bring to the table? Sort of like leading into
What can you do?
There is. She can guess spells. She does.
A mage.
Well, yes.
a scholar. I know a lot of things. I can do.
But you don't know figure of speech. What do you bring to the table? Right.
She's very little.
Young?
Well,
Perhaps you and I, Puck, right?
yes.
I like this idea.
Well, if I'm going in with a ghost, I hope that they won't see us.
But either we'll slip by completely unnoticed, or I'll pop out in the middle of nowhere and scare someone.
I guess at least 3 of us to piss them off and draw them out.
At this point, can I get one perception check from the party? You guys can decide who it is.
Who's got the
Who's
best?
good at looking at shit?
Who's got the best passive? Probably.
I'm reasonably perceptive. I am very investigative.
Yeah, I'm good at that too.
I got a
Not
Oh,
so
God.
Much, not so much the setting.
We've done the same fucking thing. Oh no.
Well, we always knew we were an intelligence-based party.
Yep. I'm not very perceptive either.
Well, I'm kind of perceptive.
Probably
All right,
you.
Hera, can I get a perception check?
I'm probably not 100% concentrating on the conversation as well, so probably I'm just looking around.
Thinking about tables.
Yeah, still trying to figure out
Well,
where
where's the
is.
table?
Perception.
I'm
That's
worrying about what she's
21.
surprised with.
21.
Hey.
All right. I'm not very perceptive. As the party, I'm assuming you're still like at a slow pace, still walking forward. You're trying to save as much time as you can, or make as much time as you can. As they're talking about this table that you have no idea what is going on about, you do hear off maybe 60 or so feet from you a scuttle. You can't see anything though. And I should say as well, you're in like almost not plains, it's not green, but it's almost brown grass kind of thing, but it's almost slightly rolling hills, very subtle. You can see in the distance they start to get a bit more lumpy, but at the moment it's relatively flat.
Okay, I'll probably sort of give like a quick scan around the group to see if it looks like anyone else noticed the noise.
Doesn't seem to be. They're all talking about putting things on a table.
Oh,
You hear it again.
Monica, and I sort of slink down, sort of thing, and I'm gonna sort of start walking away and approaching quietly, trying to get a bit closer to see if I can see. I do have dark vision as well.
Okay, noted. It's still light at the moment.
I'll sort of mention Monica's name and try and get a little bit of attention, but not super loud.
Yeah, I think you
I
were
sort of pull my spectacles up and what is it?
You guys didn't hear that noise?
No.
Don't think we are alone out here.
Oh,
I'm
good.
going to hop off Swift Scale,
Yep.
and I'm going to try and make myself hidden,
Okay.
maybe behind the ox or something as it walks. So I'm going to tell Swift Scale to keep going as if I'm on it, and I'm going to move to behind the ox, so that the ox is between me and where the sound apparently happened.
Sure. You slip off, and even anyone that didn't really follow your movements, they kind of lose you for a couple of seconds before realizing that you're behind the ox, but you are considered hidden.
Yeah, and I'm going to crank up a crossbow bolt.
All right.
I'm doing the same. I'm just going to start fanning out a little bit, perpendicular to the way that Hera's moving, and pull the lever on my crossbow, which actually cocks off a hook on my hip, slots down, and the bolt actually flips up from the side.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn my ox slightly in the direction of where Hera's heading, and I'll just hold an action for the ox to charge at anything that attacks Hera.
Okay.
I'm going to sort of almost, if Hera's moving, try and move in front of her, move side by side so at least you're not out on your own. And as we're walking, again, similarly, a different pouch, this time of orange powder, sort of sprinkles it around the edge of a shield and clicks again, sparks and an orange flame. And you can see at different points, these orange runes stay glowing as the fire diminishes, and I'm casting magic weapon.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
As you do that, you crank it up, and the orange light comes around it. Again, Hera, you hear, but it gets louder as it approaches you, and almost out of a fog that's not there, you see a blue shape appear, and it's coming straight for you. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Hey,
your charge will go off as well, Vargir, but we'll get to that.
Yes, we know.
Strong on here. Feels weird not playing a strong character. So you should, oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
That is a natural 2.
Natural 2, that's fine. It's not a natural 1.
Okay.
You see this 8-legged creature phase into reality and just shoulder check you as you get knocked prone on the ground. Vargir, you see this happen and you charge Obak in. Can you give me just a strength check from Obak?
From over? Yeah, sure.
Puck's just left their hiding position.
Yeah.
It's like, it is a +4. That's a 13.
A 13. Nice. You hit it, and it kind of stumbles itself as you see this spider, large in size, almost like blue, silky. You can't even call it skin, like exoskeleton, with patches of white dots around it. You check it as well, and it kind of like stumbles a bit before it disappears again.
Ah. Any chance we've run into these before?
Give me a nature check, and everyone can roll initiative.
Yeah. Nature and
Oh,
initiative.
that's so 7.
+1.
And a -1. Oh no.
Nature +4. 16.
16. Doesn't seem like anything you've heard of before.
Fantastic.
So initiative, let's call them out. Ghost.
Fuck, what's initiative +2? 5.
Hera.
+1, so 18.
Nice.
Malakov.
14.
14.
Yo.
Vargir.
7.
And Puck.
17.
Nice. So, as this happens, and no one else was holding an action, correct? Everyone just loaded.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. You see Vargir turn Obak into this thing, and it knocks it, and now everyone sees it before it kind of almost shimmers out of phase. As you see the dots in the grass kind of disappear as well, but you now all hear that moving around. Hera, you're up first. You're prone on the ground after being checked by this quite large beast.
Okay.
For reference, it's basically just a grassy plain around you. It's all open. There's no trees or anything.
I'm probably going to. I'm pretty fucking freaked out about that, so I will sort of probably. I think I'm going to stay prone on the ground, and I'll just sort of do like a little cat crawl back towards Volkov, and back towards like where the rest of the group is, and just sort of turn around and be looking and just trying to listen for footsteps to see if I can sort of see or hear where it's coming from or where I think it's coming from next.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
15.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Puck, you're up.
I said it was a crossbow, but it's actually a short bow. My apologies.
Sure. You've still like knocked an arrow.
Yeah. So I can't see it, can I?
No, doesn't seem to be. You see Hero kind of crawling back to the group. What would you like to do?
I mean, if I saw the direction in which it was heading, I would still loose off in that general vicinity.
Okay, give me a attack roll with disadvantage.
Yep. Oh, there's a natural 1.
Your arrow just flies out.
It's gonna shit, and I'm gonna leg off, like run in the direction that it went, how far is it before I would like hit like scrub or bushes and things?
There's the occasional little scrub around. Let's say 50 feet away is some scrub.
Okay. I'm going to charge off and like just get behind something.
Yep.
But I'll have to use my bonus action for dash to get there.
Cool.
But I won't technically be able to use the hide action. But I'm gonna crouch down behind it and listen.
All right. Give me an investigation check.
Investigation. That's a 12.
12. All right. I'll get that in mind.
That's my turn.
That's your turn. Hera, you once again hear as it's running up from somewhere, and you do clock it as it phases in again. You weren't really holding any action, but you do see that. I'll actually come back to this. It's going to try and check Molokov. So strength save, please.
A strength save?
Yep.
Yeah. Come on, baby. Pretty strong. What are savings? Plus 4, 18.
18. You hold your ground, but this beast is quite large, and it checks you, and you fall down prone.
Whoa.
It got a 19.
Oh.
As you go prone, and it spins around again, not being knocked off its side this time, but it phases out. Just before it does, Hera, you notice that there is almost a satchel on one of its legs.
Ah.
That brings us to Vargir. What would you like to do? Oh, sorry, Molokov. Sorry, it's your turn.
Shit. And I suppose I will stand up. If Hera's right next to me, I'll probably just sort of take up a defensive stance next to her and keep my eyes peeled, ready to swing my shield if it comes out of either of us again.
Okay, so you're holding the action. Vargir, you're up.
Yeah. First thing I was going to say is, has anyone got eyes on it?
No.
And I'm going to kind of chuck my mace into like a little slot on Obak, and then just reach on my back and pull out this massive glaive.
Yep.
And I'm just going to kind of hold this. So I've got a 15-foot reach with the glaive. So I'm going to hold an action as soon as it pops out within 15 feet of me. Essentially like a opportunity attack, but just...
Yep. Give it a little prod. All right.
Yeah.
You're holding your action for that. Goats are up.
Oh, I am fucking jealous of that. Do we get as this has popped into existence twice, do we get a view of what the creature's form is like?
How so? It looks like it's pretty much a giant spider.
Giant spider, yep, that's all I need to know.
But if you want to take in details, you'll need to look for it.
Yep, absolutely. Seeing as how this thing is popping in and out and I don't really know where it is, I'm actually going to do something a bit different. I'm going to reach into the bandolier across my chest and pull out a cylindrical device that I twist under my elbow because I'm still holding onto my crossbow. And what happens is a prong forks out the top and the bottom section splits into 3. And I clip that bottom section onto a small metallic coin. And it's kind of a 3-pronged device with a small needle hanging in the middle. And I bite into the top of it, and a small amount of reddish energy starts going in the middle. I'm using my magical tinkering, and I'm actually going to use it to record the next round of noise in this battle, the sound of the spider moving, whatever swings happen.
Okay.
Basically a tuning fork with a recording needle.
I like it. Hera, you now have friends around you. What would you like to do? Thinking back on when you saw it phase in that next time it had a satchel on one of its legs.
Do you mean like a satchel, like a bag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but only you saw this.
Yeah. Who else is? So did Molotov get knocked down?
I'm standing up again, sort of next to you.
He got knocked down, but he got up again.
No, good. No.
They're never going to keep them down.
Okay, I'm going to sort of get up fully and sort of just slink up back to Molotov and sort of like, so watching his 6, and I'm gonna hold. Yeah, I'm gonna hold an action so that when I see it come through, I'm thinking it's gonna try and knock down Molotov again. So when it phases in and gets close to Molotov, I'm gonna see if I can try and grab at that satchel, see if I can grab the bag off of it.
Okay, I will hold on to that. Puck, as you see it come in again and knock Molotov, you've also kind of you take in your surroundings when you're in this shrub. It's not tall, it's not even, it's really quite sparse in like, you know, greenery. It's not a thick shrubbery. But you see this happening about, 30 or so, 50 feet away from you. You do hear a little a groan as you kind of clock next to you that a goblin is lying on his back in the shrub.
Does he look injured?
He does.
Okay. First question: are goblins technically evil, and do I know that?
No, they're not evil.
Okay, cool.
Something going forward in this, they're evil and good everything in this world. But he looks like he's got some quite circular spectacles on, a little tuft of white hair between his long green ears. Probably stands about the same size as you, but tattered clothes. He's got some scratches and some open wounds. Kind of just looks dazed. He's looking up at the sky like.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to remove my cloak and drop it on top of him and say, "Stay hidden." And then I'm going to. So I best I can tell, this is the same creature. There's not two of them. It's the same one.
Give me an intelligence check.
Oh, that's pretty good. Just straight intelligence is a modified 20.
Clocking the details, it looks like it's one creature.
Cool. All right. I'm going to charge back across to the group, and I'll say, "Everyone huddle up." And I'm going to hold an action. I'm going to sling my bow and draw my rapier. And if I can, I'd actually like to climb on top of the ox, and I want to hold an action to pounce down on top of this thing when it comes back.
Okay. I'm going to say give me a dexterity check.
Yep. That's an 18.
18. You just get on the back of the ox, but you need to leave it as soon as you can. You're kind of just bouncing on the back of it.
Yeah, cool. I imagine halfway up and I'm ready to just spring off.
Sure. Kind
of next time. So I'm holding, if it comes back, and I assume the ox is next to everyone still.
It's in the center-ish.
Yeah, okay. If it didn't look like, so essentially if everyone's 10 feet from the ox, I can't jump that far, I'm very small.
Yep.
My intention was if everyone was still next to the ox and the dinosaur, that I would jump off it if it came past.
Gotcha.
But that's what I'm going to try and do.
No, I love it. As you do, you climb up the ox. You all hear it this time. As, let's roll for this. Ghost.
Hey.
This thing pops out of existence. Before it checks you, though, a glaive swings out to it. Roll for an attack, Vargir.
Nice, okay. Yeah, cool, okay. It is a not good 7.
7. Your glaive swings through the air as it is still materializing itself. Hera, you reach out for the satchel. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Expense.
Ooh, that's a 9.
A 9. Again, you are almost just a bit too far away from it. And Puck, you jump onto it and you want to hold onto it?
So I guess so. I think like possibly might draw a dagger or something and try and like use that to help me just like dig in and get grip. Like it doesn't really need to do necessarily damage, but like I want to be able to get onto it.
Sure. You jump on, and as you stab your dagger in to like kind of get a bit of a grip, you see the satchel hanging down to the side as it is looped around what appears to be a saddle of sorts on the back. Ghost, you get hit. Get me a strength saving throw.
I what say yet? Strength 0, 15.
15. You get checked by this thing and knocked to the ground as it clambers round and starts to phase out. Now. Here's an experience for a level 1 character, Puck. As you are holding onto this thing, you feel yourself start shifting as everything kind of gets almost a Army of the Dead Lord of the Rings look to it. But you and the spider stay solid as you shift into the ethereal plane.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Okay.
You guys see Puck and the spider disappear.
No. Puck?
So it's Molokov's turn.
Like,
Oh.
phew.
I
I just got punted.
Well, and I think I don't do anything different. I almost just dig my feet in further and hold the shield up, and I'm holding my fist sort of on, looking like I'm about to punch my shield, and I'm just waiting again, and I'm going to hold Booming Blade for when I see it. But if it comes within 5 feet of me again.
Okay. That brings us to Vargir.
You just shifted back in, right?
No, I just got punted.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And
So,
I have my 6 seconds of audio.
I'm sorry. Where's Puck? Where is this?
He phased out. I don't know what's happening.
Fucking. He was on the. Where was he seen last?
On the back of the creature.
Yeah.
He jumped from the ox onto it, landed,
And then.
fucking nailed it, and vanished alongside it.
I don't really know what to do.
What can we do? Hit it if you can.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna hold my action again to hit it.
Okay.
Just stay in the spot with the glaive and just like wait.
All right.
Yeah.
Ghost, you're up. Or you're down, but go on.
Sorry, was that me?
Yep.
Hang on. And I like scramble to my feet. Wait. It's not violent. It's not violent. It's just checking us. It's not attacking. It's. And I pop the stone out of the same device, twist it in the other direction, and it's going to glow with 5 feet of light. It's just another magical tinkering effect. Try. Fuck, I don't know. And I'm going to take 2 steps forward, away from the group to sort of make myself more of a target, and hold one side of my coat. And I'm just going to hold my action to try and calm the creature
Okay. When you see it.
when I see it.
Gotcha. Hera, you're up.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'll probably hear that. Think about it. Realize maybe it's just a scared animal. The satchel keeps throwing me off though. And is Puck the only person that's seen the goblin?
Yes, because it was lying in the shrubs and is now under one of his cloaks.
Yeah, of course. um,
What are you doing?
I'm gonna hold my action so that when it comes back, if Puck also returns with it, I will assume that it is safe, and I'm going to try and get onto it as well.
Okay.
Because I think that'll be easier to get the pouch off if I'm on it.
Okay. Noted. Puck, you are having an experience. It feels cold and dry, but warm at the same time. I tried to quickly side Google what the Eberron equivalent of the ethereal plane is, but I can't figure it out for now. But it is a realm of not dead. It's not the realm of the dead. It's a plane of just offset from the real world. You've probably heard of things existing here. Wizards use it to hide things. Illusory magicians use it to shift in and out of. Thieves use it as well, kind of thing. But you look back at your party and you see them all kind of just in and out as the spider runs and it kind of like starts to turn to come back to them. As it does, you do clock over by where the shrubs were. You do see a glowing light. You didn't see it in the material plane, but you do see it kind of glowing, almost like a beacon, as the spider starts to begin to phase in because it follows your turn, but it isn't yet. What would you like to do?
Okay. I want to very, as intensely as I can, note where that is, and I'm going to...
It's over in the shrubs by... Yeah.
But as in, like, because I assume I will not be able to remain seeing it, I'm going... Oh, man. I think he's a man of action. He's just going to jump off and try and beeline for that. As I jump off, does the world phase back into reality, or do I stay in the ethereal plane?
You loose your dagger, and you kind of just like almost let go as it starts its charge, and you get on the ground as you stay in this plane.
Okay.
And you bolt for that light. You just start going. It's going to take both your action and dash to get there, and we will resolve what happens next time around.
Sure. I don't know that they can't. I don't know if they can or can't hear me, but I'm going to shout out, like, I think it's a mount. Stop attacking it. Get the goblin. And, like, they probably can't see or hear me, but that's what I'm doing.
Vargir?
Yeah.
Give me a charisma check.
Oh, I can do this. That's a 13.
That's nice. Double digits.
As you swing your glaive down, we're kind of jumping between things. You swing your glaive down, you've missed. You pull it back up. You hear the almost light laugh of a child. As you look over and out of the corner of your eye, you see her skipping along, holding hands with something you can't see. And you hear the whisper, I think it's a mount.
That's so cool.
That gave me goosebumps. Okay, cool.
The spider phases back in and cuts in front of the sight of the girl as it tries to check you off the mount. Vargir, I need a strength save, please.
Okay.
So you see this girl, and then you see this 8-eyed...
Yeah. That's an 11. Wasn't bad.
You get knocked off Obak, boom, as this creature does. But I think there were a couple of held actions as well. As this this spider is trying to knock you off the mount. What was happening? Hera, you're trying to grab Puck.
I was going to
Not there.
mount the
Oh yeah,
thing
you're going to mount it. Yes, give me a Dex check.
On the condition
on the
that
condition
Puck was
that
there.
Puck returns with it. He did not. I'm now suddenly going, oh,
All right, I'm going to say that's a momentary lapse. But Ghost, give me an animal handling check at disadvantage.
Yep.
I am definitely thrown off that Puck did not return.
Yeah.
And now questioning whether touching it and holding it is such a good idea.
3. I with the coat off as fast as I can. It's actually white on the inside, if not like stained and grey in places. And just nothing.
You go,
You accidentally whack it.
oh, as you see Vargir coming towards you.
Fuck!
Unless anyone else was holding anything, I think Molokov, you were.
I did have an attack.
I had a held attack as well, but I think it kind of makes sense that Varga gets thrown off by the girl and then the voice and then the spider. I think it's like he's like, oh, boom, and guess what? Yeah.
Sure, Molokov, make your attack.
Yeah, I don't think I've processed enough to know that we're trying not to kill it at the moment. That's not great anyway. Only gonna be math. Why don't you tell me what you do to hit? +6, so it's a 14.
A 14
Oh,
hits.
sorry, 15.
15 hits.
Okay.
Roll for damage.
Oh no. So it takes an immediate 7 points of thunder damage.
Oh,
Oh no, bludgeoning damage.
yep.
And then assuming it keeps moving.
It's kind of in mid-tackle, so yes, it's going to keep moving.
Yeah. It takes a further 6 points of thunder damage.
Oh, nice. You see it.
Sort of as it comes up, and I punch the back of the shield, and just this almost shockwave. It doesn't even strike it; it's just like a shockwave sort of launches out and hits it.
Nice. It falters, and it's still going to use its bonus action to phase, but it looks like it's like right at the edge of where it would have been good to phase out. It does. It disappears again. But that did a big hit on it. It hurt it. It is now your turn, Molokov. Love a held actions turn.
Yeah. Sort of seeing now that, potentially we're trying to calm down against Puck's not back.
Not yet.
Which is not a great thing. I think this time, in fact, yeah, I'm going to drop the shield to the ground and I'm going to sort of just arms out. I'm going to try and, next time I see it, I'm going to try and, I guess, grapple. I want to, pin it to the ground, essentially.
Okay. That's cool. Vargir,
Yeah.
on the ground.
Yeah. Should I determine that voice I heard do I think that was the girl? Was that Tin?
It wasn't Tin, but you heard a whisper of sorts. It had no distinct voice to it.
It had a what?
It had no distinct voice to it. You heard her laughing and skipping, but she was holding the hand of someone that wasn't there.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stand up and say, look, I don't know where Puck's gone, but I think it's a mount. For who, I don't know. And then I'm going to hold my action to, I guess, help grapple the creature.
Yep, you can see Molokov getting ready for a pounce stance, and you get your build ready.
Yeah.
That brings us to Ghost.
Like a Pokemon, but we can do it a little bit.
Fine.
Easy catch.
Watch where you're falling, big guy. A good call, and I'm going to pull my 50 feet of rope out from hooked underneath my pack. I'm going to pull off an end and a middle section, so you have 3 strands, and hand it to you. I'm also going to take one step to the side and sort of prepare with him to almost try and use the rope as a grappling device.
Okay.
So can I use that rope now as my part of the grapple?
Yeah. You're all going to be trying to grapple this thing.
Yep.
That brings us to the top of the round. Hera, you see all of them prepping for something. What would you like to do? Still no Puck.
I suppose.
Yeah, if anyone wants.
No, I think I'm not making the relation necessarily that this is.
You would have heard Vargeir say that he thinks it's a mount, but act on that how you will.
I think I'm.
You missed out.
What are you doing?
When it,
Do it.
I'm just gonna hold an action again. When it phases back in, I'm gonna try and pounce up and mount it, I guess, and try and, trying to see if I can get its attention and hold, like, my thinking is, I guess, if I can get its attention, it might stay in this plane all around.
Cool.
No, he's back out, but yeah, I'm gonna try and
All right.
get on, or get closer. Essentially, I still just want to try and get to that satchel.
Yeah.
See if I can work.
Sounds good. All right, Puck, you make this mad dash, and for a brief second, you think that they've heard you, but you're not concentrating on that. You're running to this shining light in the shrub that you just came from before. As you get there, you see the goblin, or you see your cloak on top of this goblin, and it's kind of shifting in and out. But in its hand, you see a almost like a little rod with a split to like a tuning fork at the end, and that's what's glowing. And he's kind of just loosely holding it. So you're here now. It's the start of your turn. What would you like to do?
Yep. I'm going to grab that off him.
Yep. As you do,
and I'll say, I hope this works.
Yeah, as you do, and you say, I hope this worked. You see it almost like coating your arm, and as it stops shifting around. Actually, technically, it looks normal to you, and it starts shifting. But by the time it gets to your eyes, you realize you're shifting back into the material plane. As you've picked up this fork, and you then see the guys over there, and you don't see the spider.
Shit.
I'm gonna say that's your bonus action. Pick up something.
Sure. I'm going to hope that this works. I'm going to call out to the spider. I'm trying to command it. Hoping that that's what this thing does.
Sure.
I'll say, "Come here," and I'm going to spend the rest of my turn seeing if I can rouse this goblin. Give him a little tap on the face, pull the cloak back off him, because I initially thought he was a victim, but I think he's a rider. Yeah.
Cool. Pull the cloak back, give a little slap on the face, and you see him stir starts waking up. That brings us to the spider's turn, and all of you hear the as it phases into existence, and you see the back of it as it gets ready to run towards Puck, or towards the shrubbery, which you don't know that Puck is in.
Would they have heard me if I shifted back?
Did you call out, come over here?
Yeah, I held out. I said, "Come here," commanding to the spider. Though I couldn't see.
Yep.
Yeah.
You would have all just heard, "Come here," and then the spiders appeared facing him, but all of you jump. So
yeah,
I'm going to say you can go strength or dex checks, and we're going to do a cumulative see what we get.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. I got an 18.
That's a 23 on strength.
11 on dex.
All right. As you throw the rope and grab it and move as one, and Hera, what did you get?
Sorry. Is that Dex?
I think it'll be Dex for you, yeah.
Oh, nice. It's just possible. 18.
18. You jump on the back of it, reaching for the saddle as well. Sorry, the satchel, but you do see the saddle on the back as you clamber on. Everyone communicatively like coming together on this. You see it like falter and fall to the ground. It's still trying to like push its way out, but it stays in this plane. Puck, you see everyone just jump on this thing. But it is facing you, and it looks like it's like trying to get to you. That brings us to Molokov. It has not phased out of existence.
You want us to come here? You want it to come there? What's happening, Puck?
Oh, hey, you're back.
I just try and, I'm just clamping on the iron arm and I'm waiting to see what everyone's doing.
Okay. Vargir?
Yeah, I guess like I've got some of the rope, do I?
You do.
Yeah.
And it's wrapped. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna grab the other end of the rope and just tie it round Obek, like tie it to like his saddle or something.
Sure. Ghost? Ghost?
I'm currently holding the other end of the rope that's still pinning this thing down, so I think I'll just keep holding it.
Sure.
Although I will look over to Puck and, oh, you're back. Andrew, what's going on?
All right, Hera, you are on the back of this thing. It is staying in existence. It's still trying to push itself, and you see it like pulling against Obek now. So almost like a little tug of war. But you now look at the satchel in your hand, and you can see scrolls and notes, and looks like a little pouch of like scribbles and stuff like that.
I suppose, because I probably still haven't seen, obviously, old mate who owns the actual amount, so seeing that it is an amount sort of thing, I don't really know what we're planning to do here, so I'll probably just try and detach the satchel and then jump off of the...
Sure. Easy enough done. You wrap it around your hands and jump off while the rest of them kind of grapple this thing. Puck, you see all this happening, and you can see the spider is trying to get to you, and they're kind of like holding it down. You see Hera jump off. You can't really see that she's grabbed anything, but what would you like to do? This goblin is now kind of stirring, like, oh.
I will say to him, "Is the spider yours?" And then I'll turn back to the spider and I'll just tell it to stay, and see if I can get the goblin up.
Sure, you can help him up. He's come to consciousness, more or less, and he goes, Leclerc, calling out to it.
Sure, and I'll start trying to move. I imagine I won't be able to get too far, but I'll try and move with him like a little bit back towards these guys.
All right.
And I'll call out just one last thing, which is like, just don't hurt it. And that's it.
For sure. As you guys hear him call out, don't hurt it, you see him got this creature on his shoulder. He's still a little bit of distance away from you, but they're kind of hobbling towards you, and you see the spider kind of just start rest. It just doesn't go limp, but it just kind of stops being aggressive. As I guess we can come out of initiative now. Puck starts coming closer with this thing, and the spider just kind of like just sits and waits.
Oh, you were just frightened. I'll let go of my end of the rope and untangle it.
It kind of like helps you do it, but it still doesn't go anywhere. It seems like it's staying right in that spot. Now that you get a closer look, it is, it's almost like 8 feet big. And it kind of just like all its 8 legs and its fangs are kind of like, as you see the blue and white skin, it's almost starting to move slowly, like it's constantly moving. But no, Puck, you eventually get there, and the goblin kind of takes your arm off his support and goes, Leclerc, what have you done? He starts patting it like on its face, and it just
Is everyone okay?
Yeah,
Oh, you're a little dazed, but
you're lucky we almost killed your friend here.
Oh, no.
I fucking tried, couldn't hit it. I wander off to go pick up my crossbow and stone and light rock.
I'm sure he was just trying to protect me. The last group of people we came across were not so friendly. They stole all my stuff.
They wouldn't have happened to be a gang of gnolls, would they?
Absolutely. I believe they were part of Rule's gang.
Rules?
Yeah, that's the leader.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
first of all, insight check, if I can.
What are you inciting?
Do I believe that that is true?
Okay, roll me an insight check.
Yeah. Well, that's really bad. Sorry, insight is a wisdom, so that's only a 5.
I mean, he's cut up. He was almost unconscious.
Okay, so
it makes
he's actually
sense.
injured.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry, maybe I didn't quite catch that before. I thought he'd just like fallen off it or something.
No,
Okay.
He looks like he's got some cuts and open wounds and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, he was limping on the way over to you.
Yep.
Yes, I was resting up, drawing, the horizon, and they came across and asked me for all my stuff. I didn't have much on me, and luckily Leclerc, jumped out, as he does so well. He just didn't take me with him this time, so I got a bit of fisticuffs coming my way. I'm sorry he attacked you. I really am. Is there anything I can do for you?
Well, my name's Paxton, and I'll introduce everyone quickly. What's your name?
My name is Garunda.
Garuda?
Garundah. Garunda. I was making my way to a town nearby, Vathenron.
We've just come from there, actually. It seems that these gnolls and Rule's gang have been causing issues for more issues than we necessarily thought. We're going to try and deal with them.
Oh, well.
They've kidnapped someone.
Oh, gosh. That sounds like a horror story right out of the books. Well, you're not asking me for help, are you? I'm not much of a fighter myself, more of an artiste.
Yes.
You don't know where this camp is, do you? Because our guide, as I point to the unconscious gnoll, seems to be somewhat indisposed of.
Oh, he sees it like hanging from Obek's horns. He goes, oh my gosh, that's he leans up against Leclerc and kind of takes a breath. Oh, that is quite a sight. Don't spare me any details when you come back from the camp, but I believe I saw a bonfire in the hills just over there. Possibly them. Not too sure.
Right.
Better lead than we already have.
It's a good start.
It's more than we've got so far. If I give this back to you, I say holding his fork, am I going to disappear again? Because I did not like that.
Oh, no, I'm sorry you had to experience it. Leclerc, I told you not to take anyone else on an adventure like that. It grabs the fork off you without even confirming that you won't disappear, but you don't. And he kind of like gives a little tap on it's not aggressive or anything, he gives it a tap and you see it like kind of like shimmer in the material plane. No, I have this on me as almost a sort of safety in case I have any bad luck while we're traveling over long distances. It's not as extreme as some of the wizards of the world have, where I get to choose where I go, but it always brings me home.
My friend, I'm not asking if you will come with us for this potentially dangerous operation, but the ability to phase in and out of reality might help us in rescuing the person who's there and potentially getting your equipment back that was stolen. So if you, one, could describe what that is, and is there a way, is this an inherent trait of your Leclerc here, or?
Yes, well, he can do it as he wishes. I cannot. This here, he holds up the fork, will get me back. That's it. I suppose I do owe you a thanks. You can have it if you want. I can always make another.
No, that's fine. Unless any of you wanted to. I was more thinking that if we could phase in and out, we might be able to easily rescue our friend. But I don't think that with the limited time that I spent there, I'd have any idea how to control Leclerc, and wouldn't want to leave you out of sorts on your travel back to town.
No, I do not like traveling by foot at all.
Well, I don't know what else to say to you. The road back was fairly safe for us. Is there anything else anyone else wants to say or ask?
Hey, you're about, what, 2 hours out?
Oh, that's a bit of a relief. We'll get there, have an ale, and find a bed to sleep in.
If you find a drink at the, I believe it's called the Grey Beyond, we'll come find you once we get back, if we get back.
If you get back. They were pretty nasty.
I have a feeling it'll be a pretty nasty surprise for them too.
Oh, well, this is getting a bit too exciting for me, I've got to admit. Is there anything I can do to thank you for, well, calming Leclerc down?
Well, how about you let me help you out a little more? You're not looking too great. Do you want me to patch some of those wounds for you?
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yes, I suppose I am a bit worse for wear. I normally do present myself a little bit better than this. Kind of like tries to button up a bit of his shirt, but the button is missing in one of them, and...
I understand the struggle.
I'll wander over and drop my pack and just pull out a couple of wound bandages. This isn't going to heal him in any way, but I just do want to wrap some of the cuts.
Sure.
And I will actually pull out some of my Tinker's tools, and during that sort of minute as well, use mending, stitch a button, or patch some of the side of his clothing.
You tidy him up enough to look vaguely presentable again. While this is happening, is anyone else wanting to do anything?
I'm going to give him a couple of gold, because if he got robbed, he doesn't have anything.
Doesn't look. It looks like he's got nothing on him, and it looks like there's nothing on the spider either.
Yeah, I'm going to give him 3 gold.
Sure.
And say, get yourself set up back in town, and perhaps there's something you can do for us when we return. But
absolutely.
What is it that you do?
Well, I write things and chronicle things and activities around the world. I observe from a distance if I can. I've heard there's quite a bit of treasure going on around this town. Crews and stuff bringing back some notable artifacts. Thought I'd give my hand a try at finding some myself.
Hey, apparently you're out of luck for now. This rule has been taking all the contracts.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. He's a bit of a nasty fella, he is. A dog with a bite, if you will.
Hey. Well, perhaps we'll all be in luck. We succeed in rescuing our friend here. Well, your friend, Paxton. Maybe we'll have some work ahead. Perhaps you can wander into the mists with us. He says with a very sort of glassy-eyed expression.
See it kind of met with almost a glassy-eyed expression as well. Yes, wander in. I might do that. Or you could tell me what you find. We'll see.
Hey. Very make a deal.
The Grey Beyond, you said. I'll be sure to set up a bed there.
Tell them that we sent you. Just mention the group who was here before, and they'll know who it is.
Sure. Okay. Are you friends with the owner or something?
That's who we're retrieving.
Oh, so there is no owner.
There's a caretaker. He's a bit oily, but we'll see.
Oh, sounds interesting. I might write a poem about him.
I think Brackle's feeling particularly generous at the moment.
Oh, well, that's good. I hope my 3 gold gets me a luxury stay.
That should be more than enough.
Yes. We'd better keep moving if we want to get there before it becomes completely dark and we can't see a thing. But take care, and we hope to meet you back there.
Well, of course. Well, it was nice meeting you all. Goes down, shakes everyone's hand.
As he shakes my hand in Goblin, Can I say, safe travels, my goblin brethren?
Nice. You say that, and he kind of has a quizzical look about him before he replies in Goblin. And you too, brother.
And then I'll just hop on Obek.
Hop on Obek. The knoll in the front kind of swings a little bit. He's on Spare the Dying, but he is just a ragdoll at the moment.
Is he strung up like Mad Max style,
Yeah.
or is he like in a hammock?
Something like that.
That's barbaric.
Shake hand and go, you know, saying common, yeah, you know, thank him and all that. And then I just look up at you and say in goblin, show off.
That's the language of my people.
Oh, fuck. Maybe a gift for you. And I hand you the cylindrical device, which seems to have not quite a glass vial, but almost an opaque, an opaque glass chamber in the top, which is currently glowing with a dim light.
Huh?
You mentioned your eyes aren't so good in the dark. It turns on and off. They come in handy.
That sounds very, very useful. Is it like a torch in the sense that it's directional, or is it like a lantern in the sense that it will just glow openly?
Like a lantern, but it's not as bright as this one's shield.
Well, that could come in very handy.
5 foot of light, I think.
Okay.
5 foot bright, 5 foot dim. So it's kind of your immediate area.
Yeah, cool.
So
That's awesome.
directionality ain't a bad idea at all. I should write that down. Makes a couple of quick notes in his notebook.
If,
As you were, please step in.
I was just gonna say, he's shaking all the hands as he goes around. When he shakes Kara's hand, I will give him back his pouch.
Oh,
And take it. Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were alive or dead. You're not dead.
kind of like contemplates that sentence for a little bit longer than is socially normal. Thank you for that. If you do come back, I will be happy to reward you with the knowledge that I've gained over my travels. But for now, you can take one of these. And he reaches into the pouch and pulls it out. Roll me a d6, Hera.
oh.
That's a 6.
6. He pulls out a spell scroll for illusory script.
Ooh. Oh, that's neat.
Very nice. I will tuck that in
I can't remember what that does.
to my inventory.
And so the way spell scrolls work will do like we always have done. Anyone can cast a spell scroll, even a fighter. They'll just have to do a very high DC and it might not work. A wizard can obviously copy the spell into their book, or they can just use the scroll once. Once the scroll is used, it will disintegrate. Even if it's a failed use, it will disintegrate. Basically, like a script is written in arcane. So if you just had a basic fighter reading a 5th level spell, that'd be extremely hard for them to comprehend and say all the words correctly with an arcana check. I mean. So yes, you can add a scroll of illusory script.
That's a neat spell.
It is. Well, thank you for all you have done. 2 hours travel, I suppose I'll get there a little bit after dark, but... Anything else I can do for you? Otherwise, I'll be on my way.
I think you've helped us enough, friend.
Of course.
Good on you.
Pops up onto Leclerc. It sits nicely in the saddle, this little goblin on top of the spider. He goes, well, I guess I'll see you back in town, as the spider kind of kicks into action and disappears.
We should probably get moving.
I am so fucking jealous.
You probably see like maybe every 30 seconds or so in the distance, it pops in, pops out, like it can't constantly stay in there.
I'll shoulder right up next to Puck. What was it like?
It was bendy. Everything had a shimmer and a haze. I think if I was better prepared, it would have been interesting, but it was definitely a shock. I've
We can
seen
tell her.
blink dogs, teleport, but this is different. This is a different reality that it seems to experience.
Call me a little sheltered in my early life. What the fuck is a blink dog?
It's the symbol of my house. They are, they look like a kind of like a dog, but they can teleport. But this wasn't teleportation. This was, something else.
Kind of a little bit wide-eyed, slowly pulls out the book, and a big cat just writes blink dog exclamation mark.
They're said to come to
Again.
the aid of those who need it, which is, I think, why Galander has taken it as their symbol.
Hey, part of House Galander. Yeah, what do I know of House Galander?
Why don't you give me a history check?
Let's pop fuck. Oh, well, my history's not going to be great, but that nat 20 will probably help him.
Ooh.
Oh, +4, 24.
24. You probably know the basics of the houses, as you have traveled yourself. House Galander, the majority of inns, taverns, and restaurants in the Five Nations are either directly owned by House Galander or licensed by the Holsters Guild. Most people give little thought to House Galander when compared to the soldiers of House Deneth and House Cannith, but Galander's strengths lie in its charms and connections. A Galander innkeeper hears many things, so they are big on passing information between houses and stuff. But yeah, they normally have a sigil on the outside of inns, and if you see that sigil on an inn, you can tell that that inn is up to standard. It's got its health and safety thing. It's like an A-star kind of thing. Yeah, it's basically a mark of quality for hospitality.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I've only had good experiences with House Galander in the past.
Yes, well, I hope that we can keep it that way.
I see a little bit more of a personal relationship with someone who's a working man for the house.
And you don't work, you just work for yourself, or?
I'm a bit of a nomad, you might say. Been around for a while. Don't really have a profession.
Where are you originally from then?
Fuck me. I have to think of the actual. What is? I need the map.
Yeah.
DM up north, where the dwarves are. What is that called again?
That is called the Moorholds.
That is the Moorhold.
M-R-O-R holds.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well done. Well, like you see, I'm going to have to knot out my own backstory a little bit more myself and actually put it into memory, but I've come down from the Moorholds. Spent many few years up there training with a smith. Not really an apprentice, you might say. Still a young lad. Haven't really made my own in the world yet.
Well, I've seen some of the things you've made, and they're very impressive, so I think you've got a good future ahead of you in that.
I will see. I think I need a little more practice first. Embarrassingly enough. But
we could all use more
thank you for your
practice.
support. You're a very positive influence.
I try to be hospitable and things in keeping with, I guess, the mission of those I work with. But perhaps we need to keep moving.
You're not wrong. It's getting dark.
Would you, Ghost? Would you? So yeah, you're the other short one, right?
I am indeed.
Would you
I'm barely
like?
standing taller than yourself, sir.
Would you like to try riding?
Ghost Eyes kind of wide and a little bit in excitement.
I'll
Would you?
call over Swift Scale.
Shots over,
Oh,
staying in one material plane.
she's a beautiful creature. She is.
Yes, well, once you get used to it, you never forget how to do it. But dinosaurs have a bit of an odd gait with only 2 feet and things. But yeah, I'll help you up. And as we travel along, I'll try and give you some pointers of like, make sure you're holding the reins loose and things. Like, don't like keep it tight around him.
Give me an animal handling check with advantage.
8.
8 with advantage.
Yeah, I rolled a 3 and a 7.
Wow.
Puck, you are helping, but you are also small. As you kind of reaching up, and you're kind of almost verbally helping rather than like someone that would carry the reins of a horse along, and you're like, no, left, no, you got to pull it, and Swift Scale is kind of like jolting a bit and does like a couple of hop, skip, and jumps. It's not the most comfortable you've been, Ghost.
Varga's gonna kind of have this small audible chuckle as he's watching this happen.
Hi, look, horses are a little bit easier to handle. Hi,
And Swift Scale will keep trying to like turn its velociraptors. I think it's called a clawfoot, but they turn their heads around. It's trying to like lick you and stuff like that, and so it's not looking where it's going, and it's very rough.
Yeah, no, oh, you're adorable. Oh fuck. Oh yeah, no, rock, shorty. Oh,
But as everyone kind of starts moving on, unless anyone else wants to do anything before they leave.
No. I'm just gonna start as he's like kind of like going like this.
Yep.
I'm just gonna start riding.
Yep.
Just through.
Nice. As you come closer to these foothills, or actually there's no mountains, it's just hills, you do see an orange glow starting to become more prevalent as the sun gets lower and lower. It's past dusk at the moment, but the sky is still a little bit light. It's at that kind of like twilight time. But you do see in the mountains the orange glow of a bonfire. You can hear drums banging. Sounds like there's a lot of noise coming from there, and the black smoke you can still see trailing up into the sky. Looks like the hills kind of come together, and this is like, it's almost in a pocket, it seems. You're still a distance away from it, but it looks like it's, will definitely have some surroundings around it as the ground gets less brown grass and more almost like stone rock.
A mountainous landscape rather than shrubbery and forestry.
Yeah, a lot of pebbles and gravel. It doesn't build into any mountains, but just not a lot of vegetation.
Not a lot of cover to hide behind if we were to try and look down from a hill, for example.
For sure.
So we're distracting them?
Right, you should perhaps take over here, Puck.
Yes, well, we want to get a bit of a look at them, I think, before we plan anything out. But let's not crest any hills. Let's maybe if we move over to that outcrop over there and leave the mounts behind. Once we get leave them in the shelter of the up from view, we can have a look and then make a plan from there.
That's smart.
Hey, not a bad call. Anyone pause? How you two doing?
I can get a little closer if we need. I have good eyes in the darkness, so maybe see a little closer. I don't want to get caught.
If they're in the light and we're in the dark, we should make it easy enough to see them from not too far away. But just cautious and conscious. I don't know how quiet the ox is, but Swiftscale has been known to make some noise when he's spooked.
Oh, Obak is definitely not quiet.
As it kind of just looks at you and just says, "No."
What
I'll give it a pat on his snout.
What kind of color is the sort of stone terrain here?
Oh, I'd say like brown, light brown.
Ashy brown. Okay. I'm gonna take the coat off again and reverse it to its white interior, and just start rubbing it in through the dirt. Try and pick up as much of that that brownish color as possible,
Okay.
and then throw it back on and flip the collar up. Hopefully, help me blend in a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, it covers you enough. If you weren't moving at all, kind of thing.
Yep.
But you're not really sure on the perception of these bandits either.
I think I might stay here. I'm not exactly quiet.
No, neither.
May as well have someone stay with the mount.
Good idea. I'll hand you the reins and like really, really awkwardly help Ghost off because he's got stupid, massive boots, and I reckon they're gonna get caught.
I love it.
You eventually get Ghost off. Yeah.
Hey, look, the heels slot in quite nicely to the side of the saddle.
I'll get the
The problem is they slot nicely into the side of the saddle. Never mind.
I'll give the dinosaur a little like rub on the side, and then kind of like lead Obek and the dinosaur further away from the camp, like maybe behind a big rock or something.
Okay.
Hey, if it all turns to shit, look for a bright light in the sky.
I'll come run.
If needs be, make sure that we come back and meet here.
I'll keep an eye out.
All right. Pull
So-
my cloak up.
Stay with me, eh?
Yeah, I make way too much noise.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna take out one of my crossbow bolts, unscrew the head, and attach a smaller version of what I gave to Puck to the end of it, and just slot that away. Yeah, that is all.
Sure. So I'm going to say, as you kind of move a bit closer to this thing, we get within about 100 feet of it. And you can see that the fire is quite large, but you can't see the base of it. As you approach almost a C-section of these mountains, of these hills, and they've raised up, they've found like a little cavern inlet of it, and in front is a line of palisade walls. I'll bring it up in a second. On the side of the palisade walls is almost like a stone column that is, let's say, 20 feet high. On top of that, you see a gnoll kind of dozing off with a bow on its back. We can decide how close everyone is in a second. Other than that, two palisade walls come together to a palisade gate that looks like it's locked from the inside. So
my intention was that we'd have a quick look and then maybe come back and have a discussion of like, okay, so if the sneaking team does this,
Yep.
while you guys maybe go and do some of these things. So maybe if we have a look and then we can work out a plan and then execute.
sure.
As much as plans survive 5 seconds of
Yep.
actual play.
So this is what you see as you kind of like go have a look and then come back.
So we can't, I suppose we can't see past the palisade wall, obviously.
No, I'm going to say they're about 10 feet tall.
There's one sleeping on guard.
How well built are these palisades? Are we talking like wooden, spiked wooden posts slabbed together, or?
Yeah, they look pretty well built. If you've seen anything like it before. Let me actually just show you.
Sorry. Oh, that's much better.
So, this here is what you see if you scroll to the bottom of the map.
Ah.
I've just extended it, like just treat that as normal terrain.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But that's kind of what you see.
Are the trees real terrain there, or just ignore
No,
that?
treat them as like leaves on the ground.
Yeah, understood.
So is there like a platform at the top of that?
Whereabouts?
Where Noel is, sorry.
That rock is about 20, 25 feet high, and it's just sitting on top of that rock.
Okay. Right. Okay.
So this is what you report back as you come back.
Okay.
And then you can see on the either side, there's kind of like stone. This is where the C section begins.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that it curves to a back, but you can't really see behind it.
Any way to come in from behind?
Not that I could see from where we were. It might take us a while to get around there and.
Still hear the drums going. It sounds like there's almost a party of sorts happening inside.
Does
Look.
anyone have a method of communication while distant?
Negative.
Hey, don't look at me.
Unfortunately not.
It's outside of my abilities.
Yeah. Okay.
We can make a similar device to what the Ghost Tailors used. But it's only recording.
Okay.
Speaking
Well-
of which, I may be able to distract that guard.
What if we can if you and I can get there and distract and maybe even subdue that guard, maybe we can use the lights as a way to communicate, flash at each other or something, and let that be a start causing havoc now kind of thing.
Once you two get rid of the guard, then the rest of us can just draw out as many as we can outside the walls. They shouldn't be too threatened by 3 people.
Yes, although if you don't need to put yourselves in harm's way, then don't. If you can just light the wood on fire or something, make it a problem for they have to deal with.
As I reference the knoll on my thing, I'll say we do have a pretty good bargaining tool. I don't think they'll attack straight away. We could probably keep them in conversation for a while,
I don't know how many you think we're dealing with, but there could be dozens in there.
and then we just run. I have an ox.
Right. And what do they have? Do we know?
Legs.
And maybe other things.
Got a better idea?
I like the stealthy approach.
There's no way we're sneaking in. Once you get in there, you're alone.
Not immediately. How's your climbing, Huck?
I'm pretty dexterous, but not specifically good at climbing.
You see the bonfire light up like they've thrown like an extra bit of fuel on it, and the knoll that is attached to Obak kind of starts to stir.
Keep him quiet. I think if maybe we sneak
Do
in.
you give him a knock?
Yep.
Yep.
Not trying to kill him.
I
Just
understand.
Butt of the crossbow.
You know, we could have asked him what was in there.
Hey, be my guest and wake him up.
You just knocked him back out.
Hey, we're keeping him quiet.
It's called a gag.
I'm not sure what you guys want to do out here to cause your distraction, but perhaps you could talk to them. Although I'm not sure how we get away if they're all at the door. Don't know what the back end of this place looks like. Does it look? It looks like there's like rock all the way around the back.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure how good of a condition Callie is going to be in to climb out.
How about keeping someone up on the rock, drop a bit of rope, and you can climb back up?
I was thinking something like that with rope. That's a good idea. Any of you any good at climbing?
Not particularly, but I believe.
Slow progress for me too.
Well, I can climb up. I can drop a rope off the side, and then one of you can climb up and wait there. Maybe someone who can do some damage from a distance if needs be.
Sounds like you two.
I'm not a bad shot. I can distract that guard if you climb up the far side of the left-hand side of that rock.
Can I make 2 observations? The guard seems very sleepy. That is number 1. Number 2, there is a lot of noise going on there right now.
Mm.
It sounds, I do not know much about what these people do, but it sounds like something is happening there. To me, I don't know what they planned on doing with your friend, Mr. Puck, but
Sounds like they're having a feast.
I didn't want to say it, but there's a lot of noise happening. We may only need to deal with this one, and then a lot of us can get in.
Okay. Well, let's. What's your plan to distract? Do you want me to still climb up the other side, or I can climb up next to this guy, and
The bonfire heaves up again.
I can Assassin's Creed him basically.
This is what I'm saying. Is we may not need to distract.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. He's sleepy, but if you happen to make too much noise, I could draw his attention so you can take him out quietly.
Okay,
Yes.
let's do that.
The
Let's.
rest of it sounds like they're feasting.
I'm
Once
gonna.
you drop the rope, I can deal with the gate.
Yeah, I'm gonna put down my bag, and out of my bag, I'm gonna bring. Maybe I'm just gonna like get them out to the top or something like that. I'm gonna take out my tinderbox, some string, my rope, my oil. Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, and my ball bearings. Classic rogue.
Nice.
And actually, I'm going to take my thieves' tools in case she's locked up. And
Okay.
then I'm going to make.
So you're going to take all the contents of your bag out of your bag.
No, I'll drop off like my sleeping roll.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like my rations and
Yeah.
things I don't need.
Yeah.
And I'll leave those with my mount.
Yep.
I know that we've got them just here, but I reckon if we can have them like.
Yeah. This was just as reference
no,
kind of thing.
I kind of figured. Just thought it was worth saying. Have them like off to the distance, tied up to a tree or something like that.
Yep.
And then I will move. There we are. I'm going to move over, and I'm going to try and like approach from like way out on the side.
Yep.
And like come in and like try and like sneak up around here, kind of thing, and then try and climb up.
Sure. So we're going into action now. Everyone can be in the spot that they want to be in. So if you want to move you guys back a little bit to where you were congregating, you can. Because if Puck's going to be starting to move, then we need to know where everyone is.
How what are these squares? How
5 foot squares.
I think I might.
Always 5 foot.
I mean, makes sense for me to stay back.
I'll probably
Maybe like around the side here.
Okay.
Oops.
I don't want to be too far from the action.
Yeah, it just means that it's like swooping from the side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're over there. Yeah, that sounds. I will maybe be a little bit closer, like maybe where that tree, not a tree, is.
Out there.
Yeah.
What about you here?
Just find like a rock or some shrubs, sort of crouch down and.
I suppose. Hopefully. But be like,
Can I get a?
sort of a similar thing, like you're following Sykes' directions, or coming in that wide
Yep.
curve route, trying to slink in the darkness. No, doesn't really see me.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow along with Hera. And behind Puck, but just before Puck kind of starts off ahead of us,
Always take that range.
I'll just tap him on the shoulder and keep your feet light, lean forward, on your toes. I'm gonna cast guidance on.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I'll wink back, and I'm going to send a photo into the chat, and I'm going to pull down my mask, pull it out of my bag, and chuck my mask on. Give you a little wink and go. Let's see what happens.
I'm gonna keep a hold of the inscribed audio device as well.
Yep.
If it looks like Puck gets found, I'm gonna click it and toss it to the opposite side of that stone. Have those noises hopefully distract.
Yep. Cool. As you pull down the skull mask, Puck, with the horns coming off it,
Yes.
you almost, the rest of you see him almost go into the shadows as he starts his little jog up around the side. I'm going to need the stealth check from you, Puck.
Absolutely. All right, that's
And
a.
D4.
Oh, and D4. I don't want to use it yet.
All right, you only have a minute to use it.
Yep, that's fine. That's a stealth. That's 19.
19. Silent as a cat, you run around the outside. You are now up against the stone wall, probably 25 feet tall.
Yep, I'm gonna try and with whatever light there is, I'm gonna try and see if I can plan my way up. But I'm gonna like get the rope ready around my across my chest kind of thing and start to climb up.
Yep.
I'm gonna crouch down in behind right behind Hera's leg. I don't have the device at the moment. And knock a crossbow bolt and just train it on the guard as well.
Okay. Give me a dexterity check to climb. You can use athletics or acrobatics if you want.
Yeah, cool. I will use acrobatics, and I'm going to use my D4 on this.
Yep.
Oh wow, okay. So that's going to be a 27.
27. Just as if you were walking along a flat piece of earth, you just glide up there. As you do, so let's move you up top there. You peer over the top, and you see this gnoll just glaze-eyed. He's got a bottle of ale in one hand and a bow slung across his back in the other, and you can see he's actually fallen asleep. He's kind of just like nodding off, even though he's looking out. But what's more interesting is what you see behind him. You have a look into the camp, and it is a curved, cut out area of the hills. It's almost got a slant to it, as if they've been digging into the hills. There are a couple of wooden drawbridges crossing between some similar stones that you're on now, but it does look like a mine of sorts. They've started to dig into the hills. At the back, you see an overarching cave of sorts, with a dim light coming from within it. It seems like something is in there, but in the center, you see this big bonfire, and books are thrown on it. Pieces of metal are thrown on it. It looks like they are just burning what they have salvaged from the town. There are raggedy tents spread amongst the area, and there are gnolls just chanting, and they've got like turkey legs that they're ripping off with their teeth. You see a couple of them have like metal shoulder plates, but then on the other shoulder it's just like a piece of leather. Very mismatched armor kind of thing. Very Mad Max vibes of just a gang of bandits. So I will reveal that now. You see this.
Oh.
And these are the gnolls you see.
Oh shit. Okay.
So there's different. The guy who I'm standing next to, is he still a gnoll?
He is, yes.
Okay, cool. Just because the token was different.
So he's a gnoll archer, basically.
Yeah. Oh, right. So if I zoom in, it looks like a gnoll, but from when I was not zoomed in, I couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Is it me?
Yeah, we're not in initiative yet, I wouldn't say.
Given my stealth, is it? Well, actually, okay. First things first. I am going to take out my rapier as silently as I possibly can, and I'm going to just.
I think with the 27 stealth, you are fine on that.
If the dude's asleep, I imagine it's not too hard.
Yep.
I don't know what armor they're wearing, but like I'm gonna find like a chink in the armor and try and just go straight into the heart and cover the hand over the mouth and sort of thing, like to if there's any gasp or anything like that.
Yep. He is asleep, and you go up to him with that 27 roll, find it. It's not even armor, really. You just find a place and just slide it in and slide it out. Very little bloodshed as it kind of just slumps, and you lay it down on the rock there. Anyone else wanting to do anything?
Pick him with the pointy end.
At this point,
Yeah.
untrain my crossbow because there's no target anymore.
Yep.
I'm just gonna,
And come along the side of that wall as well, to the base of that rock. Oops, I don't have a pointer.
I think seeing Paxton successful on his mission, will sort of make my way up to the wall and just start making my way along it towards the gate.
Okay.
But probably not go in front of the gate just yet.
Yeah,
As you do, you can probably peer through gaps in the palisades, and you can see the scenes behind it. Each of these stone pillars is probably 30 to 25 feet high.
Stone pillars, these things.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, understood.
I'm gonna come to about here. Now is this wall climbable?
The one to your left?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, no, sorry. Is this like any of this? The palisades?
I mean, they're wooden sticks straight up, so you could try.
Pointy ends, though. Pointy ends. What about the stone wall?
The stone wall, again, you could try.
Okay. How high up is it?
I'm going to say that one is probably 60 to 80 feet high.
And the balustrade, sorry?
Oh, the palisades?
Yeah.
10 feet.
Yeah, I guess I'm just going to try attempt to climb this wall.
Okay. Give me an athletics or acrobatics check.
I can do that. I believe in you. I believe in me too. I realize as well I'm a bugbear. I've got sneaky. Don't know what to do. It just means I get advantage on stealth.
Oh, nice. After you,
But I had to cancel. I guess that. Sorry. Athletics. Yeah. That's a 23.
Very nice. You start climbing up the side of this wall, holding yourself together. That's fine. You start climbing. Anyone else do anything?
I suppose I'll make my way towards the gate and try and determine what's securing it, whether it's locked, whether it's...
Give me an investigation check.
Wait, is that a 7 or is it a 1? That one's a 7.
So that means...
That old chestnut.
Yeah. Which is a 10.
10. It looks like there's a wooden plank on the other side. You're not sure how secure it is.
Cool. That would have taken me a minute, so...
I'm awaiting a rope.
Yeah, sorry, I just didn't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm doing all the things and everyone's just waiting.
That's
I'm
right.
looking for a place to tie a rope on. Is there anything up there that like a
Doesn't it looks pretty flat up there.
all right, I'm gonna tie a rope to this dead body
Okay.
and then take up some of the slack myself because I'm only lifting a very small person who's the same size as me,
Correct.
and I'm gonna toss the end off.
All right. Throw the rope down. Ghost, you see the rope?
Oi. Sure feet. Now I'm going to cast guidance on myself.
Very nice.
And climb.
All right. Give me a athletics or acrobatics check. With advantage with this rope.
Oh, wonderful. I will take that 16 plus stuff. 2. 18.
Nice. You feel the weight pull, Puck, but you find the equal balance, and eventually Ghost climbs up and slides onto the top of the stone wall with you. Or stone pillar, I should say.
So is there any indication of how the knoll got here? Like, is there like a ladder on the other side of it or anything?
You look down and there's like a rope ladder.
Yeah, cool.
I look back towards Hera.
Now that it seems secure, keep an eye on where Molly can see that he's sort of heading down to the gate, and I didn't actually realize that I have eyes.
Oh.
So I will probably not even look at the rope and just climb up the thing. Just extend my claws slightly and find all the little nooks and
Nice.
cracks in the wall and use my light-footedness to sort of just
so much.
You climb up, as Ghost, you realize that the weight of the rope probably would have pulled that knoll off, although there are 2 of you up there now. But no, Hera, you slink onto the top as well, and now I believe all of you can see this.
Wonderful.
There's no obvious like prisoner or anything or someone tied up anywhere.
There are a bunch of tents. There are some tents that are further up the ways, but there's nothing that stands out. The only thing that stands out is that cave with a bit of light in it,
Yeah.
which is this one up here.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I'm
No, sorry. So this one here is the one with the light. The one
there's a
down
cave there.
Yeah, the one down here looks like it goes underground or
Okay.
is being dug out.
I'm gonna just like hanging on the wall with one arm, kind of like turn and look to the other guys, and like just kind of mouth, like what's going on.
I'm just gonna sort of point to my shield and sort of I'm gonna make like almost like a ramming motion and point at the gate and sort of stand there, point at myself.
Okay. I'm just gonna stay here then.
That's gonna be my way in if I have to.
All right. So you're hanging off on the side of the rock. Molokov, you're ready with your shield there. The other three. What's happening?
I guess we have a conversation of where would you think they're holding her? I'm not sure we can take 7 silently.
No.
Looks like there. I'll sort of point up to where that light looks like it's coming from out of that cave. Seems like a safe storage for prisoners.
Yes, I think we can get there. All right. Well, we'll check there out first. Best not to call any attention to ourselves, and if we need to, once we get up there, it might be worth trying to deal with the archer up there.
Yes, you do. You do see that second archer that's sitting up there.
They are more alert than the one that was here.
They are pacing and looking down on the bonfire, no drink in hand.
Okay.
Oh, is that an archer up on the little
Yeah.
tree? It's slightly different. Ah, yeah, gotcha. I was like, hey, where the fuck's the archer?
Yeah. Okay.
I let Molokov in. We should get out of sight. I'll go to that ladder and, as quietly as possible, and with as little movement as possible, slide down. And,
For sure. I'm going to need you to make a stealth check. Now you're going in.
I have not used my guidance, so I will use it on this. Oh, I'm not going to need it, but I'm going to use it anyway. She's going to run out soon. Ooh, that is a +4. That is a 27.
That is significantly enough as you slide down. So you are now where your token is on the ground.
I'll tuck him behind this tent, give them some space.
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to climb down as well.
Sure.
Did Ghost want help with that?
Depends whether you wanted to say that.
I didn't ask for it.
Okay, in that case, Puck is going to make my way and start head all along. I'm basically going to try and skirt the edge.
Yep.
And probably check out this tent when it gets, it's been long after I've gotten that far.
Sure.
And then work all the way up to like that little ramp area.
Sure. So move to yourself to the tent and we'll come back to you.
Yep, cool.
Hera, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think I'm just going to sort of take a deep breath, stick to the shadows, and I'm going to jump down. And I'm just going to try and get to like there. And
All right, I'm going to need a stealth check from you now.
hide behind the thing. I'm sort of keeping an eye on where Puck's heading, looking over back towards the gate, and trying to see if I can spot Molokov and
I just called him Molotov.
like the idea.
What's the subject?
Ooh wee. Stealth. +3. So that's a grand total of 6.
Oh.
6. Ghost, you start heading towards the gate. Actually, I'm going to move you over a little bit more. I think you would have got a bit further.
I would have been, watching for a moment to slip to the gate.
Puck, you wait till he lets the ladder reset, and then you start jotting up to the top. Hera, you swing round and your claws catch on the top of the rope as it buckles, and you fall with a and the rope kind of slaps back against the rock. Unsure of the consequences.
Shit.
Ouch.
Is that something I could hear from where I am?
It is, yes.
Okay.
No. It's super good.
I'm just gonna like stare directly in that direction
Yep.
and just look at you.
Fucking. Can I or can I not see ghosts coming towards me? He had a really good stealth check, so I'm imagining I can't.
I don't think you can, no.
No. I suppose I just look through the cracks. Is anyone reacting to sound?
Give me a perception check.
I would just like to note that I'm back against the wall.
Yes, I imagine that you heard that and then just scattered up against that wall.
Yeah, I'm pulling out my dagger as well, which I've not ever really used, and I'm still some
That's an 18.
And 18. You see the archer up on top of that rock. Grab an arrow and aim it towards the pillar that Hera is behind.
I need to do some quick thinking. So
Yep.
just I don't think I can do anything from where I am though.
Damn it.
I think one.
Sorry, guys.
No, it happens.
Fireball.
Whatever. If you were
It's not Gaslight anymore.
hanging on the wall there, I had an option.
What was your option?
I could pull his attention away from that rock.
I'm still on the other side. I just dropped down.
I
Yeah, but as
suppose
soon
at
as he
the
looks in that
time
direction,
it would have
he's gonna
taken
see-
me hear the noise, see that happening. I'm probably going to move to literally in front of the gate. I draw a rune across my shield, and I'm going to cast guidance on myself.
Yeah.
And to anyone who can see me, it looks like I'm about to charge the gate.
Okay.
I imagine that's about a round of stuff happening since the noise. So
Sure. You're getting prepared to do it. Vargeir, you're seeing all this happen. Anything you want to do to prepare for him charging the gate? That seems like the definitive option that's going to happen.
Yeah, it looks, I can just see him. I can't see you. You're fucking tucked. I can't see. I wouldn't have eye line with Puck.
No, he's looking in the tent.
Hera, I could probably just see if I'm up on the wall, right? So I can just see him getting ready to go in.
Correct.
and you've probably seen,
Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna turn, look at Obak, give a little whistle, and let them start charging at the gate.
I love
His reaction.
how long we planned.
Yep.
And how quickly it fell apart.
So we're gonna go for 60 feet to about there. So that will be
What?
yeah, and then that will be a round's worth of stuff. I'm gonna get ready to hop over the fence, hop over the gate.
Yep.
I guess I could just walk across it. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go.
Molotov hears. Wait, I've got. Oh fuck.
I was waiting for, but of course you didn't. Yeah.
All you both hear though is suddenly.
No, we hear that fucking Texan whistle, and I go.
And then I'm right behind you.
Oh, right. Wonderful.
So here,
I'm hoping to basically, when Obak comes, I want to hop on him as he charges through.
okay,
That's the goal.
that's the goal.
Yeah. Just swing
I'm
on.
gonna line Obak up behind you. Oh, you've already have. Cool. So here's what's gonna happen. The archer is going to be pulling to the stone pillar that Hera is behind. Ghost, you are moving away towards the gate. You can see the plank of wood that needs to literally just push up
Yep.
to come out. Molokov, you draw the symbol on your shield and you hear the behind you with a as you know, or you can assume what's coming, and you get ready to push at the same time. At that point, for anyone that is looking or just for cinematics, the arrow turns to face the gate. As Puck, you peer through the tent and you see what seems like a crossbow-ish sort of contraption, but sitting on top of it is a firework kind of arrow, and it is glowing red hot. You assume this is some sort of firearm.
That's actually not bad that he's down there.
Okay.
And before we roll initiative, that is where we're going to end today.
Oh, you fuck! Oh, okay.
As we are getting close to end time with starting this combat, and it's all about to happen.
Oh, that was wonderful. Oh, you I had that. We could have got this silently.
I mean, we were already noticed, and to be fair, you walking out and opening the gate would have drawn his attention just the same.
Oh,
I was very stealthy. I was hoping to just pry one edge off.
Yeah.
And just get that moment right, like watching him, his attention's focused.
Like,
right,
I wasn't
slip you in.
necessarily going to charge the gate next round, like, next
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I was
we'll
ready
see.
to do it for, if arrows started getting loose, I wanted to be ready there with my guidance to charge it down, because I didn't know you were there.
I just saw her shaking, you getting ready to charge the gate, because I'm assuming you're going to go save sis.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
And that is
I thought
we will
Harris
pick
was
up
shuffle,
from-
I was not going to fuck around.
next week.
I'm glad you found.